We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction. We only put things out on what we believe in. We believe in XRP. It is a use case that is already proven.
You launched it at a good time because...
Huge news for XRP, the biggest moment for crypto is happening now. Historically, this is the perfect time to buy altcoins. Smash the like button and make sure you watch today's whole video because money is flowing back into the crypto market now that Donald Trump, Scott Bessent, and the White House at large are now signaling they're de-escalating the tariff and trade war.
9:40 or so this morning, the Treasury Secretary, the Wall Street Journal moving a story says, quote, White House considers slashing China tariffs, could be by half, to de-escalate the trade war.
So you have a very clear softening of the rhetoric over the last 24 hours. That is obvious to all of us.
Because we all remember Trump for the last couple months has been shaking up markets with every comment.
Oh, he'll leave. If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. If I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast, believe me.
So it is very good for markets that Trump is changing his tune and now making every effort to bring back confidence in market sentiment, even softening his whole position, now saying he has no intention of firing Jerome Powell, and it was just taken out of context.
None whatsoever. Never did. The press runs away with things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. This is a perfect time to lower interest rates. If he doesn't, is it the end? No, it's not. But it would be good timing. It could have taken place earlier. But no, I have no intention to fire him.
Now with the regulatory environment for crypto opening up in the U.S. every day getting better and better.
A top priority of my chairmanship will be to provide a firm regulatory foundation for digital assets through a rational, coherent, and principled approach. We will work to ensure that the United States is the best and most secure place in the world to invest and to do business.
Wall Street is going crazy launching crypto products like their latest special XRP ETF. This is something that could have never been done before with the old administration. XRP holders are apparently going crazy for this, and Wall Street at large, this is signaling to everybody that altcoin season could be back on the table in a big way, because understand what's happening with XRP. Here will happen with many more crypto coins. Listen to the reason why Wall Street decided to launch this XRP ETF. Tell me what you think about this latest crypto product, and then let's get into this Bitcoin bombshell.
So a leveraged 2 times long XRP ETF. You launched it at a good time because we're seeing this bounce back in the cryptocurrency itself. But who is this for? Who is coming into this ETF in its first 9 or so trading days?
Well, I think the XRP community, they really are a bit of a cult. They are dedicated people, and rightfully so. There are a lot of XRP wallets, I think more than 6 million out there. So we know there's pent-up demand to tap into XRP in a more traditional Wall Street wrapper. Now, it's not so traditional that you go with leverage, that's the point. But this specific product is geared towards traders who have a short-term view, to primarily one-day view of what XRP's price moves might be. This allows them in a traditional brokerage account to achieve leverage without a margin account. We believe in XRP. We're not making a price prediction, but we do believe it's a coin that will have the most utility out there. Bitcoin is a store of value. I agree with Mike McGlone, but I think that XRP has a true use case. There's just no doubt about it. And the Ripple team, from the interaction we've had with them, they're really professional. They act like investment bankers over there. They know what they're doing, and they will make this work. And we will see a different Wall Street. We will see traditional finance be merged slowly with DeFi, DeFi, yes. And then we will see DeFi take over. It'll take longer than people think. I'm convinced of it, but it will be so much more efficient. And, 3 to 5 second settlement, which is what Ripple can do. That's amazing.
I want to dig in specifically on the use case that you mentioned, because a lot of folks watching probably would have the reaction. The only use case for Ripple and some of these other tokens out there is speculation. So what is the actual use case of XRP?
Okay, so XRP, that's absolutely not the case. You can speculate in it because it's out there and trading. But XRP, they started Ripple, and I'm not going to speak for them, okay? But they started Ripple to facilitate transactions, moving money around, okay? But now it's literally helping tokenize everything as they develop their level 2 build out. They are really going to tokenize everything. They've just bought a broker-dealer clearing member, as you may know, and I think that that's the first step toward integrating traditional finance with DeFi. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a breakthrough. It is a breakthrough, but it'll happen slower than people think.
Okay, so the 2x levered ETF with exposure to XRP. What's in the pipeline? What's next?
We have filed for an inverse. We'll see what investor demand is, but we'll see. I mean, we were the first to get a 33 Act Bitcoin fund approved, as you may know, and Grayscale won their lawsuit on the back of that approval. Then the new SEC came in, which is now the old SEC, thankfully, and they prevented everything. So we'll see. We only put things out on what we believe in. We believed in Bitcoin, store of value. We believe in XRP. It is a use case that is already proven. It just has to expand.
Most people don't realize this next part, and Coinbase institutional head of strategy has just revealed that sovereign wealth funds large institutions, large pools of capital have been buying the Bitcoin dip. Since April, retail was selling the dip. He says we could see retail selling through their exposure to the Bitcoin ETF. Large institutions were buying. Retail's fear. It is amazing to me what he reveals in this clip. You have to ask yourself, what do institutions know that retail doesn't?
John D'Agostino is here. He's the head of strategy at Coinbase Institutional. Tell us what's going on in terms of the coupling, decoupling. I don't really know, because there's periods of time where it feels very coupled, then it feels uncoupled, then it feels like it's coupled up again.
So the nice thing about my position is I don't have to guess as to what traders are thinking. We're kind of the center of the crypto ecosystem. So when you called me, I made a bunch of calls. And the pools of capital that have been buying during April, sovereign wealth funds, large institutional, long-term duration pools of capital. For the month of April, as you would expect, gold ETF inflows were massive, like $8.5 billion roughly from the 2nd through the 22nd. Okay. Might surprise you to learn that Bitcoin ETF flows were net negative to the tune of about 470 million. So the opposite of that was occurring. So institutions, sovereigns, patient pools of capital were piling in during April, which resulted in about a 13% increase in Bitcoin versus 10.5% for gold. And retail via the ETF were exiting. So you got to kind of ask yourself, what do the institutions know?
Were the institutions buying Bitcoin direct? And how many of them are now buying via ETFs or other forms?
Well, hard to say. They don't, especially the sovereign wealth funds don't report.
Right. No, but you're also, I imagine, seeing the ETFs buying, because the ETF should be buying on a
in the last couple of days.
But the ETF should be buying on a relative basis on behalf of their customer base.
Right, assuming there were inflows, right? But the last couple of days, yes, we've had inflows. But still, as of yesterday, it should change today, we've had net negative ETF inflows. So, so the first reason is de-dollarization. The second reason is this tech unwinding of this big levered tech trade and Bitcoin trading on its core characteristics, which again are similar to gold. You've got scarcity, immutability, non-sovereign asset, portability. Right. So trading the way people who believe in Bitcoin would like it to trade. The last was, to me, the most interesting, which is, I spoke to a couple of traders who said, look, if you believe these conditions, these de-dollarization conditions are going to persist, you're looking at gold, obviously, first and foremost, but maybe you missed out on that trade. You're looking at that rally and saying, I missed the boat on that. So what other assets could participate in that market panic long-term inflation hedge? When you do the work, there's a very short list of assets that mirror the characteristics of gold. Bitcoin is on that short list. In addition to the 4 characteristics I mentioned, its mining scarcity, its mining difficulty gets harder over time.
Yeah, and you can add 2 or 3 more good things about Bitcoin that you didn't even mention. So, I mean, maybe it never is used to wire money or whatever you want to call it over to the Far East or something, but you certainly can do it instantaneously, frictionless, right?
And you could do it overnight.
And you don't have to, in gold, I mean, you better, it's heavy, you better store it, you better insure it. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Portability is an under-looked at, it's under-emphasized skill asset. It's very, very hard to transport large amounts of cash. It's very, very hard to transport large amounts of gold.
Right.
You can't put $400 million of gold on a small disk drive, tuck it under your arm, and move if you need to.
Right. Someone said after gold moves, that Bitcoin starts moving, it'll move a lot more. Do you believe that?
So look, again, if you buy into this notion, and I know a couple of some of the best commodity traders in the world, and 5-6 years ago they thought inflation was going to persist and be an issue. And there's no perfect inflation hedge. We all know that. Nothing's perfect. So they created a basket. So they looked at hundreds of different assets and said, what's the best possible basket of commodities, real estate holdings, U.S. Treasuries? What does that look like over the next 10 years to be the better inflation hedge just holding a single asset? In every single one of their analysis, Bitcoin was top 5. So again, nothing's perfect. But as a basket for to protect against market panic and inflation hedge, Bitcoin and gold go side by side.
Hey there's never been a better time to get serious about your cryptocurrency.